Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Last week, we had another one of these beta males shoot and murder another beta male at a Waffle House in Florida. And in this incident, Craig Brewer, a 41-year-old father of two, was murdered by Ezekiel Hicks, a 25-year-old man who was at the Waffle House with his girlfriend when his girlfriend got upset because he was paying for everybody else's bills at the Waffle House and giving them $20 and didn't take a minute to give her the same $20 or pay for her meal. Now, when I look at this incident from a panoramic perspective, I see the same dysfunction I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And when I take a look at the behaviors of both of these men, I see the behaviors that I detail as related to a beta male. Now, what is a beta male? A beta male is a man who submits to female authority and female authority figures, and worse, acts and behaves like a female because he has been socialized just like a female by those females. And when I take a critical look at this incident and I look at the behavior of Craig Brewer, it reminds me a lot of the behaviors I talk about in another one of my books, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. Now, when I look at Craig Brewer's behavior, it is the textbook behavior of one of these simps out here. Now, some people will sit there and say Craig Brewer was a good Samaritan, but in the Bible, the good Samaritan was an individual who gave help to someone who was in desperate need of it. No, when it comes down to simps, simps are not good Samaritans. They go out here and do what many people believe to be good deeds, but they do those good deeds in the hopes of getting favor, attention, and approval from others in the hopes of getting brownie points with them. And your Craig Brewer was participating in that type of dysfunctional covert contract when he walked into that Waffle House talking about how he was going to pay for everybody's meal and hand out $20 to each individual. When he did that, what he was doing was some simping right there. And as he was doing that simping, what he was doing was getting the attention of predatory females like the one your Ezekiel Hicks was with, because only a predatory female is going to get upset like the female in this case did when a man who she does not know from anyone, a complete stranger, is talking about paying for other people's bills and talks about how he's going to hand out $20 to everybody. That's the only type of female who's going to get upset that she doesn't get somebody else's money, because every other female who is with a man like this woman was with this Ezekiel Hicks, she is going to be looking for her man to take care of her. So when I look at her behavior, it's really suspect to me. And if a guy is out here and he's dating a female and she's looking for another man to take care of her and pay her bills the way this dude was, you need to put up a red flag, because that female who's looking at that other man's money will try to find a way to get with that other man if she gets the chance to. Because what made this female get all upset about this other man's money was it showed how hypergamous this female was and how she felt slighted that she couldn't get any access to his resources. And as because she couldn't get any access to those resources, what she did was throw a tantrum, and that was where she got into Mr. Brewer's face, and she was starting to argue with him, and that again showed how deeply dysfunctional that female was, because any woman who has her own money isn't worried about the money of another man. Moreover, if that woman is out with another man, she isn't worried about that other man's money and that other man's money taking care of her bills, because she's going to trust in her man who has taken the time to go out with her and knows that he has the money to pay their bill. So when I look at her behavior, this was the thing that really set off both of these simps and really escalated everything, was her sense of entitlement. She felt like she was owed Mr. Brewer's money, money she didn't work for, money she didn't earn, and money that was not hers, and she was going to get into an argument with a man over money that was not hers. Now, what really led to the further escalation of this incident after this female spit in this man's face was this beta male, this Ezekiel Hicks, then running out of this Waffle House to go get his gun. That really showed us all who was truly the weakest beta male in the room, and showed us that this Ezekiel Hicks was somebody who came from a female-headed household, because his behavior was just like a female. Instead of him taking the action a man would do, which is to take a minute to check that female who was completely out of pocket in this situation, because this was this female's out-of-pocket behavior that led to the escalation of everything. Your Craig Brewer could have been simping all day long, but if that man, your Ezekiel Hicks, had checked her, the whole situation would have come and gone. But because your Ezekiel Hicks had no backbone and no testicles, he decided to go along with this female instead of checking her, because any man who is out with a woman and she is sitting there getting upset over another man's money, that's when a man is going to take a minute and then ask a critical question. Why is this female getting upset over another man spending money to pay for other people's bills? That behavior right there is a complete disrespect to that man who she's going out to this restaurant with, because it shows that this woman does not respect you, nor does she respect the money and the time you are taking to go out with her to this place, nor does she appreciate the money or the time you are taking to go out with them at this place. What that woman showed your Ezekiel Hicks was nothing more than complete disrespect, but because this beta male was so emotional, he didn't go get up and check that female the way a rational, logical thinking man would, by one, checking the female, and if she continued to go on, then walk out of the restaurant, because for her to disrespect him like that means she can go get her own transportation home, because any man who sees a female getting upset over another man's money who's out with him, and she's getting all upset like that, that's when you get up, put on your coat, and walk out of the restaurant and leave that female to go find her own way home. Because if she's so eager to get that man's money, then that man can go take her home at the end of the day. Because that's what a man would do in that situation. But no, this beta male decides he's going to go get his gun and use that gun to go get in this man's face, and then she's going to go shoot. Then he's going to go shoot this 41-year-old man and murder him, all because a female did not get her meal paid for at this Waffle House. And with her not getting her meal paid for at that Waffle House, this is the thing that is going to trigger this man to go out here and murder another man. Textbook beta male behavior from this Ezekiel Hicks. This Ezekiel Hicks participated in textbook beta male behavior when he murdered Craig Brewer, something I have seen over the last 25 years, as many of these men have killed another man over one of these females and wound up doing life in prison, all while that female was still going out here playing games with other men. And that's the sad thing about this whole situation, is that we see one man lose his life over this female and her behavior, and another man is going to wind up in prison for the rest of his life. And neither one of them thought this female is going to go be back out here causing the same trouble with two other males, because if they had that type of critical thinking going on, they would have participated in some completely different behavior. Now, what's really sad about the death of Craig Brewer, this 41-year-old father of two, is that there are two children who are not going to have their father, and I believe, sadly, they're not going to have their father because nobody sat down your Craig Brewer and told him about why you don't go out here and try to take out money to impress people, because that's what simps like to do. They like to go out here flashing cash, they like to go out here showing out, and they like to go out here trying to impress people who don't care about them, and all that does is put a target on your back for predators like this female who has managed to slip away while your Ezekiel Hicks gets arrested for his murder. And again, that's just all could be avoided if this man decided to do the real right thing, which was take care of his two small children, take that money that he was going to go give all these people to his small children in something like a trust fund, in something like a savings bond, in something like a bank account, some type of resource that that child would be able to get later on in life. Because if this man really understood what being a good man was all about, he would understand he needed to take care of his family first, to make sure his kids were taken care of, and not worry about these dysfunctional Negroes in the street in places like this Waffle House. Because if these Negroes at this Waffle House have the money to go place orders there, then they have the money to pay their own way in those places like that Waffle House. They don't need some guy coming in here with a cape playing Captain Pay-a-Bill for a bunch of people who won't appreciate it. What those people need is a sense of responsibility, because what this guy was doing was enabling the entitlement in females like this, because that's what simps do when they go out here and pay bills for females, is they get them to have this sense of entitlement. They start believing that they're owed something, and that's what leads to them getting angry and wanting to fight a complete stranger over their own money, and not thinking about how if they came to this restaurant with a man, that man is the one who's supposed to be paying the bills, and you're supposed to show respect for that man by saying to that man, don't worry about him, I know you got it. And if that man had a backbone and that female started acting crazy like that, the first thing he's going to say to her as he checks her is if you with me, I'm the one who's going to have your bill. And if she still continues to go on, then he will get up and walk away from that female, because that female has, again, shown him nothing but disrespect. And if this female shows you disrespect, then she can find her own way home, because if she's looking at his pockets, then the chances are she's not going to be loyal to you. And that's, again, something that this beta male never thought about, this Ezekiel Hicks. He was so caught up in his feelings about this female being slighted by this man that he didn't understand that this female had put a big middle finger up at him, had absolutely no respect for him, and showed nothing but contempt for him. But he's going to go out here and try to defend the honor of a dishonorable female, and now he's going to prison for the rest of his life, all because he didn't know the rules of manhood. He didn't understand the skills of manhood. He didn't have the life skills of man, and he didn't understand the intangibles of manhood. And one of the intangibles of manhood is a man understanding there are things more important than this female, and those things are his freedom, his safety, his health, and his dignity, because those things, if you compromise them, you will wind up losing in an incident like this man lost. and you will not be able to get them back for years, because this man, when he's going into this prison system, he is going into an environment where he's going to be manhandled, humiliated, and that tight end of his is going to be made into a wide receiver, because he's going to be made to submit to those men in the way a woman would in that prison. And that's all because he could not check a female and did not know how to check a female in that Waffle House, because if he knew how to check that female, that man, Ezekiel Hicks, would be free, and that other man, that 41-year-old Craig Brewer, would be alive today. And when I look at this whole incident, it is a lesson for all of you men out here on how to behave like men, how to problem solve like men, and how to critically think like men, because all it takes is one incident going wrong to cost you your freedom and your life. If you'd like to learn about how the dysfunctional behaviors of beta males, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, in paperback, ebook, or an ebook at Amazon by clicking the link in the description box. And you can also get The Man Crisis on Smashwords and the iBookstore. And you can also get my other book that I talked about, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, in paperback and ebook at Amazon, Smashwords, and the iBookstore. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon by clicking the link in the description box, or you can donate to PayPal. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.